What is up, Critics? In this video, I'll be talking about this week's Triple Money Event Week, as well as the newest additions and vehicle discounts as well. So this event week is for August 4th through August 10th, 2022. So in terms of new additions, we of course have the Benefactor SM722 that was added today as our first drip feed car for this DLC, and the new car dealerships, which are Luxury Autos and Simeon's Deluxe Motorsport, have opened today as well, so definitely check those out. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Adder. So this car is primarily based on the Bugatti Veyron and has a normal price of $1 million. To get this car for free, you have to place top 3 in a Pursuit Series race for 3 days in a row. In terms of performance, this car is in the supercar class and has a very respectable top speed. However, it doesn't handle well, as we all know, which really impacts its lap time, making it one of the slowest supercars in the game in terms of track performance. In terms of the test ride vehicles for this week, we have the BF Weevil, the Rapid GT Classic, and the Asbo as well. And for next-gen console players, we have the Hakachu Drag as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now, in terms of the casino podium vehicle, we have the Enos Stafford. This car is primarily based on the 1959 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 2, just a gorgeous and classy luxury car from that era. It has a normal price of just under $1.3 million. In terms of performance, this car is in the sedans class, and not surprisingly, it's one of the slowest in that class. But honestly, that's not the reason you buy this car. You buy it for its styling and its history. I think it's the perfect car to cruise around in. And in terms of dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos, we have the Turismo R and the Omnis EGT. And for Simeons, we have the Dubsta 2, the Picador, the Hermes, the Gauntlet Hellfire, and the Penumbra FF as well. So starting off with the property discounts, we sadly don't have any this week, which is quite unfortunate. But I guess it does make sense since we literally just received the DLC about a week ago. Moving on to vehicle discounts, we have 40% off the Viserys. So this car is in the Sports Classics class and is around top 10 for track performance with a great top speed as well. But honestly, I think the Turismo Classic, for example, is a much better deal, priced only slightly higher than this car's discounted price. Moving along, we have 40% off the XA21, which is my favorite car in game because of its styling, customization, engine model detail, driving experience, and of course, its incredible exhaust note, which is my personal favorite in game. Now, the car is in the supercar class and is not the fastest, but it can still wedge its way into top 10 depending on the track. Next up, we have 40% off the Torero, the original. So for those of you who recently bought the new Torero XO and also want to have the original in your garage, now would be the perfect time to add it to your collection. Plus it's in top 10 performing for sports classics as well. Moving along, we have 40% off the Novak. So this vehicle is in the SUVs class and is in top 3 for performance depending on the track. At this price, I think it's a great deal for this SUV, but do bear in mind that the Tauros is still king of that class and only costs about $500,000. Moving on to the Southern San Andreas website, we have 35% off the Penumbra FF. So this car is in the sports class and has pretty good customization. Now obviously it's not competitive in that class, but it's still pretty quick for what it is, being around the pace of the Spectre for track performance, which is very impressive. Next up, we have 40% off the Hermes. So this car is in the muscle car class and has a great straight line speed and handling as well. However, it has awful brakes, which really impacts its driving experience and of course its track performance as well. Moving on to the Warstock website, we have 40% off the Holler Custom Cab for the MOC. Pretty random there, but I guess if you've been wanting to get an MOC for a while, you can save some money there. Next up, we have 35% off the Half Track. Not the best weaponized vehicle because it's slow, and honestly the Insurgent Pickup Custom is just a better overall vehicle, but I think it's still a pretty cool one to own. And lastly, we have 35% off the weaponized Tampa. Now the upgraded top mounted gun is insane on this one, very powerful, but keep in mind that this car has no armor, which is really unfortunate. In terms of clothing discounts, we have 50% off the utility vest this week, which is pretty cool. In terms of triple money, we have triple money NRP on the adversary mode Vespucci Job Remix. And these are really cool because they're inspired by famous movie scenes, and I think they're a ton of fun to do with friends. In terms of double money, we have no double money opportunities this week, which is pretty unfortunate. But again, as I stated earlier, this is normal for when a DLC releases this recent. It will get better as time goes on. In terms of bonuses, there's a 2-time boost from the bunker research missions you can request from Agent 14. So for those of you who've been holding off on completing your bunker research to unlock all the gunrunning DLC upgrades, I highly recommend grinding that this week so you can just get it out of the way. This is definitely your best opportunity by far. Also, for bunker resupply missions, you will get double the supplies this week, which is pretty good. And lastly, Rockstar has increased the RP for all missions, races, and death matches as well, which is awesome for those of you looking to level up. Moving on to the Prime Gaming discounts for Prime Game members only. So again, same as usual, the only thing we have is the usual free $100,000 for logging in during the event week period. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is La Fuente Blanca. This week's normal time trial is Vinewood Hills. I highly recommend a fast bike such as the Hakachu Drag, Shotaro, or a Batty 801 for this time trial. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the Supercar Race Congestion Charge. I highly recommend Aravida's Vest 8, Emerus, or Krieger for this race. And if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using either the HSW Devest 8 or the HSW Weaponized Ignis. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial for this week is Sandy Shores. As always, the HSW Hakachu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the XA21, and that's definitely not because it's my favorite car in the game. Okay, maybe a little, but honestly, for 40% off, it's a pretty solid deal on this car, because usually they do about 30% off on cars like this, so 40% is really good. So if you were ever considering buying one, now is definitely the best opportunity to do so. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, I think this is a pretty good event week, especially considering a DLC just released recently, and typically event weeks aren't that great during this time. But I think the vehicle discounts were pretty good, all things considering. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.